Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jason Show on this Monday, August 17th. I had to check the calendar because it's been a long time since I've had to say that. I'm Jason Matheson. Do not adjust your TV. This is not a rerun of one of our home shows. We are live. I am back after my vacation, and I'm thrilled to welcome, as Kendall's taking some time off, my good friend. It is really like Back to the Future because Shane Wells is here. Hi, sweetheart.
What is happening? Good morning. It's so good to see you back. I feel bad sitting in your chair, though.
It is so good to see. Yeah, I know. And you did. I want to start off by saying you and Kendall, I got a lot of messages over my time off that you guys are doing a great job. So thank you for filling in. I really appreciate it. But selfishly, I'm really excited to be back and to see you, I'll be back actually in the studio tomorrow because I did do a little traveling. We cut everything really short. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I'm at the end of my home post-travel quarantine, so that's why I'm back in my home studio today. But I'll be back in the studio, social distancing, but I'll be back in the studio tomorrow. So I can't wait to see you. Shane, while I was gone, and you can tell me the truth, don't worry, no one else can hear you. Did everyone behave while I was gone? Did Jeff and Ted and photographer Eric, did everyone behave themselves?
Absolutely not. In fact, I think Jeff walked out on one show when he was offended by things Kendall and I were talking about. So.
Of course. Did he do this, Shane? Did he do this? His patented, no, don't do that. Don't say that.
He's doing it right now.
Doesn't surprise me. Of course he is.
Tell us about your trip, though.
Kendall's. Oh, well, coming up in a little bit, I've been joking, Shane, that I've been telling people I traveled so you don't have to, because obviously I'll just say right off the bat, in what we're going through right now, the safest thing to do is not to travel. But I did, I have obligations outside of the Jason Show. So I went to Disney World for that. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about flying in the pandemic. I learned some tips. I'm holding right here. I'm just going to go like that, right there. I found, Shane, and I'm going to tell you coming up in a little bit, a best thing ever. I found the 3 best masks to wear in heat and cold for comfort. And I tried, obviously, Shane, because, we were going to be in Florida with a feels like temperature of 115 degrees. We tried every mask imaginable, and I have the 3 best masks, period, like end of sentence, that you will find.
Can't wait to hear about that. I bought so many masks.
That's right. Oh, I have 3, and you'll never have to buy another one. That plus more coming up. Jill Zarin's on the show today from the Real Housewives of New York. We're going to talk not just about the Housewives, but what she's up to right now, and it has to do with masks. But right now, let me grab my spoon. Even here at home, Shane, I have the spoon. Cue it, Leo. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. There we go. I didn't forget how to do it. Yeah. The casting for the final season of The Crown on Netflix is in full gear. I'm just happy they're coming back. Last night, the Netflix show announced who is going to be playing Princess Diana. Look at this. This is who it's going to be. Elizabeth Debicki is going to take over the role for seasons 5 and 6. She takes over for Emma Corrin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who played Princess Di in the upcoming season 4. We haven't even seen that yet. In the announcement, Elizabeth said, Princess Diana's spirit, her words and her actions live in the hearts of so many. It is my true privilege and honor to be joining this masterful series, which has had me absolutely hooked from episode 1. Elizabeth has been in Guardians of the Galaxy. If you're thinking, hey, she looks familiar. Peter Rabbit and the upcoming movie Tenet, which keeps getting pushed back and back and back. The announcement comes after Jonathan Pryce was announced to be the next Prince Philip. Imelda Staunton is going to be Elizabeth, and Leslie Manville is going to play Princess Margaret. Now, Shane, please forgive me. It's been a while since we've chatted, and I can't remember all of your TV habits. Do you watch The Crown?
Jason, I mostly stick with things like Paw Patrol The Octonauts. So this crown thing you speak of is not so familiar to me. How about you? Are you excited about this casting?
Well, I'll tell you. Speaking of Paw Patrol, I didn't know what Paw Patrol was until I babysat your children and for that day at Mall of America. And when I say babysat, I mean I kept an eye on them for about 30 seconds before they left. But I lost. Fine, Shane. If you're going to get technical, I lost your children for just. But it was very quick. I mean, we got them back. I rallied. The rest of the time was good. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited for this casting. I'm excited just for the news that we're going to get an additional season because they were going to wrap it up, I believe, at season 5. But the fact that we're going to get one more is really, really great. I think Netflix realized this show is hot. It is what people want. And especially, speaking of what people want, if you're going to talk about the Royals, you want more drama in the 80s and 90s with Diana. I mean, even not watching, Shane, don't you agree? I mean, that's what modern audiences really want from a show like this.
24/7 fascination with Princess Di. Yes, give us more.
Yeah, more. And she looks like her. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. Anyway, let's move on. Next on the dish. Okay. Another primetime drama is going to tackle coronavirus. I'll tell you what I think about it in a minute. Okay. The creator of This Is Us over there on NBC says the show is going to tackle the pandemic head on. The show hasn't begun production on the 5th season yet, so fans will likely have to wait just a while. Shane, I don't know how you feel about this. I forgot what the other show was that decided to bring. Oh, Grey's Anatomy is going to tackle the pandemic. My feeling is, and I felt this way about when American Horror Story did an election-themed season right after the 2016 election. We are living in this right now. I watch TV to escape. I don't want This Is Us talking about this is pandemic. I don't want this. I want entertainment. Do you not agree?
100% with you on this one. And the other thing is, by the time they film it and air it, who knows where we're going to be in this current situation. And like you just said, I don't need to relive this. I'm good. Case closed.
No, because you know what's next? They're gonna. This Is Us. Mandy Moore is going to be bitten by a murder hornet, and then And then what? And then a couple of days ago, what was it in California? We had a fire tornado. I was gone, and I'm like, oh my goodness, a fire tornado? I said it. Our apocalypse bingo card, Shane. You didn't hear? I said this a couple weeks ago before I left. The apocalypse bingo card. All we need is alien invasion, and I didn't even think about a fire tornado. And now we have a fire tornado on it.
So close to a bingo.
Under the O, 64. Next in the dish, a 90s cult classic is getting picked up for a little bit of a reboot. Look at this.
Dee?
What's up?
Did you get your report card?
Yeah, I'm toast. How'd you do?
I totally choked. My father was gonna go ballistic on me.
Mr. Hall was way harsh.
He gave me a C minus.
Well, he gave me a C, which drags down my entire average.
Bye.
I'll call you, okay?
Yeah.
Isn't my house classic? The columns date all the
Clueless is turning into a TV show on the streaming site Peacock. Yeah. This go around, Dion will be the main character. She was played by Stacey Dash in the original movie. The show will follow Dion after Cher disappears. How does she handle being the most popular girl in school? We don't know yet when it's going to be released on Peacock. I personally think this is the worst idea. This is more evidence that we're just running out of ideas. Clueless was perfect just the way it is. I don't know how you can make it better. I don't know how you can turn that movie into a weekly series and give us 12 quality episodes. And Cher, you're going to do Clueless without Cher? She disappears? What is she, Luke Skywalker in Force Awakens? She disappears? What do you mean? Where is she? Is it going to be, thank you, Jeff. I heard Jeff finally laughing at one of my jokes. I've been waiting for that for 2 weeks. But anyway, what is it? Twin Peaks? We're turning Clueless into Twin Peaks? Why? This is going to be a murder mystery? Where's Cher? Did you like the original movie,
Oh,
Shane?
Jason, this was like I think I was in like 8th or 9th grade. I don't know if you remember, there's a picture we show on air a lot, a throwback, where I am dressed as close as I could to what Cher would wear, but Wenatchee, Washington version of Cher, which is a little different level. But yeah, no, we don't need more Clueless. It is so perfect the way it is, as you said. No, and she disappears, you're right. The storyline doesn't even make sense.
No, I'm not turning into Clueless for unsolved mysteries. I tune on. I would turn on Clueless. I would turn on Clueless for Cher, and then Paul Rudd.
Oh, yes.
You know, I will say the reboot rule. The reboot complaint that I have. There's one exception. I still have to admit, after seeing the second trailer, you know what reboot looks really good, Shane? The Saved by the Bell reboot. Some of the writers from 30 Rock have tackled it. The writing, no, Shane, hang with me, Shane. No Judge Judy yet. But the writing looks fresh. It's a fun premise. They're not, there's no mystery. There's no, where's Zach? It looks smart. I'm just saying, I'm going to give it maybe 3 tries. This trash, I'm not even going to watch. But I don't even know how to find Peacock. I don't even know how to, I've run out of room on my Apple TV. I don't even know. I haven't even logged on to Peacock. Can you believe that, Shane? I have it. I haven't even looked at it.
No, because you are the early adopter. If anybody is all over this, it's you. The fact that you aren't there yet, that's a problem for Peacock. That's okay for us.
No, I don't. And HBO Max, I logged on that once.
Oh,
and then I haven't watched it again. There's just too many. Yeah, Shane's like HBO Max.
Oh, we can't get that.
Still
we have
ahead,
a Roku.
everybody. Like I said at the beginning of the a what?
A Roku is like how we have all of our apps now, and they made it so you can get HBO, but you can't get HBO Max on it, which makes no sense. Anyway.
Oh. You can get HBO, but you can't get HBO Max.
Yeah.
That's like when I was in my 20s and I could only pay half of my phone bill so I could get calls, but I couldn't receive calls. That's what that's like.
Who needs that?
Coming up in just a little bit, I'm going to, like I told Shane, it was my 20s. I'm going to recap my Disney trip. Plus, the Golden Girls house hit the market and buyers lined up, let me tell you. And then the Real Housewife, the original Jill Zarin will join us live. That and more when we come back. Stay with us, everyone.
Hey everybody, welcome to Watch What Happens Live at home from the Hamptons. I'm your host, Andy Cohen, for what I'm told is our last show of summer. And what a fun summer it's been. I hate you, summer. I hate you, summer. I hate you. All right, sorry about that. I had to get it out of my system. My guests tonight are appropriate for any season. Please welcome Real Housewife of Potomac, the Grand Dame, Karen Huger. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Andy. How are you?
I'm good. Now that I got that out of my system. My next guest is a comedian, writer, and actress. Did I cut my lip? Oh, my God. Look, you guys, I cut my lip.
You're bleeding, Andy.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. Quarantine.
Oh, my God. Accidents, but I got that out of my system. Okay.
Wow. I may be back at home for a day quarantining, but at least my lip isn't bloody. That's Andy Cohen celebrating his final summer show with a bloody lip. Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's time to get a second helping of hot dish, and for that, we go all the way to Hollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our good friend Brad from TMZ. Hi, Brad.
Hey, good. How's the weekend?
Really, really good, actually. It's my first day back after a couple weeks vacation. Let's start off with J-Lo and A-Rod. I saw this as I was kind of relaxing. They bought a new house, and when I say house, I mean basically a small state.
It essentially is. It's on Star Island down in Miami. This is a $40 million home. And if you're familiar with Star Island, there are some big names on there. Diddy lives there, Gloria Estefan, and a few others. But we spoke with a few neighbors who are excited for A-Rod and J-Lo to join the island because not only does it bring money in, but it also brings some essential star power. So it helps the other people who may be thinking, you know what, maybe I want to sell my place. It helps bring those property values up. Not to mention you're going to have some pretty cool new neighbors.
Pretty cool new neighbors. And the name is beyond appropriate. Okay, I mentioned my vacation. I had a vacation not like Kim and Kanye. What did they do?
Well, they first started this vacation in the Dominican Republic, and this was a trip to essentially save their marriage. Then we know that they took it a family trip. They went glamping, which is how rich people go camping. This isn't your standard tent below the stars, laying on the hard ground. These are like luxury tents, real mattresses. They have electricity. There are some cabins too, and just a ton of really cool amenities. We're told that they rented out an entire little resort campground area for $43,000 a night. So that's the way you do it for sure.
Brad, can you imagine being that like the park ranger and you're there and you see a car pull up and you're like, oh, look who it is. And then Kim and Kanye get out.
It'd be definitely one for the books that day. You'd kind of let them have their privacy and you'd make sure that they got treated right.
Yeah. Let's move to LeBron James on the set of the new Space Jam. I'm old enough to remember the first Space Jam. So what's going on here?
Well, this was really awesome. So they wrapped filming for Space Jam 2 just a few weeks, maybe even a couple months ago now, Jason. And we got some audio because on the last day, LeBron kind of addressed the cast and the crew and he thanked everybody. And it's really just an awesome message that he gave. He said, look, my mom was pregnant walking the high school hallways at 16 years old. He said, a person like me isn't supposed to be here in this situation. And he just thanked everyone. He related it back to his own experiences and just really said how surreal it was to be in those shoes. So it should be an awesome movie, and LeBron's just an awesome guy. You got to listen to the audio on the website.
Brad, we were talking about reboots earlier in the show, specifically TV reboots. I'm not always a big fan, but don't you think out of all of the franchises that probably have a really good shot, no pun intended, of being a major hit, it's Space Jam paired with another NBA great. I mean, we had Jordan in the original, and now we have LeBron. It seems like a pretty secure blockbuster.
Don't forget, Jason, you can never go wrong with Bugs Bunny either. So I totally agree with you there. No matter who's in the star role, I think the cartoons will bring it back to life for sure.
How dare I forget Bugs Bunny? I mean, you get Bugs and you get LeBron. What more do you need? Brad,
That's
thank you so much. Have a good week.
Combo.
Brad from TMZ, and you can get more TMZ. Yes. You can watch TMZ on TV. Check your local listings. And for stories 24 hours a day from our friends, just go to TMZ.com. Shane joins me again. And Shane, you asked me at the beginning of the show how my trip was. It's kind of a tradition here because I usually do this break at the beginning of July, but because of the COVID, we shifted it a little bit. I'm usually traveling the whole 2 weeks. Obviously, I didn't this time. We came back and started immediately quarantining. That's why I'm back here in my home studio for a day. But we went to Walt Disney World, not just for pleasure, but for business as well. And I learned so much, Shane. And the first one, I'm going to start with a compliment for all of you watching, that has to fly maybe for a family emergency, or maybe you made the decision to travel. Shane, I'm telling you, not hometown, they're based in Atlanta too, but Delta, Shane, knows how to do it. I will tell you this quick little story. First, you walk onto the plane and everything smells like a new car. Their cleaning techniques are so substantial. You immediately feel comfortable. They don't seat the middle seat. And Colin and I we sat down, Shane, and we still, Lisa rented, because Lisa Renna sanitizes everything. Lisa rented everything above us, the screen, the pouch, and the buckle. And Shane, when Colin showed me his sanitizing wipe, clean as a bell. We had to take another airline. I won't say which one, but we had to switch airlines for something that I'll talk about tomorrow. And we did that same thing. Shane, Colin showed me his sanitizer wipe after that leg of the trip. brown.
Oh, you're like a real life infomercial. Clean, not clean.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, I am celebrating how good Delta is and how serious they take this. So if you do have to fly anyway, I felt safe. As far as Walt Disney World, obviously traveling right now, not traveling is optimal. But if you're going to go, I said this before the trip, Shane, and I said this, I will say it now that we're done. I actually felt safe in the Disney bubble. We followed every precaution imaginable. We went above and beyond. We didn't at all travel outside of the Disney bubble. We went there and we left. And that's another company that's taking it very seriously. And as a mom, Shane, I found it fascinating. Parents with little kids, everybody was wearing masks. I was really watching how everyone was acting. And though the crowds were much, much lower, everyone seemed to be having a good time. I didn't see a lot of kids, having a kind of a fit with the mask. And Shane, this is in, feels like temperature of 115 degrees. So people ask, was it still magical even with all of these new precautions? Personally, I say yes, but it's a very personal choice. Again, I did it half for work purposes and half for pleasure. And it was a great experiment to see what this is like, how this company is handling such a challenging time. And on that note, I mentioned the masks, Shane. I did a lot of research before we went because obviously you have to wear a mask everywhere within Walt Disney World. You can't ever take it off unless you're eating actively and stationary. So I did a lot of research, and I have 3 best things ever. Roll it, Leo. So whether you are a worker that has to wear a mask during their entire shift, or maybe you do have to deal with the hot weather, the 3 masks that I found, Shane, that I'm being Jason here, but really did change our life the last 2 weeks. The first one is the Under Armour sports mask. This came highly recommended to me before the trip, and I will tell you, I now see why. You will notice kind of the shape of it. It kind of sits off of your face, so it breathes easy, and it's really made for athletes when they work out. And you can see the straps here. It's kind of made with like a spandex, so it's incredibly comfortable under your ear, because I know a lot of you watching, sometimes even the most comfortable masks irritate your ear. These run for $30. They're a little more pricey, but you can wash it, dry it, dry it. One of the best purchases I have made, and even in the heat, Shane, I was always comfortable. Next is a good old-fashioned medical mask, like those 30 packs that you can buy at Target, Shane. I found those really comfortable, really light, and breathable in heat. And finally, this is the find of the month. This is from a company called Sway. Maybe I'll just put this on for you real quick. Sway, S-U-A-Y, and their website is, let me see here, swayla.com. Fits like this, and as you can see, Shane, it has adjustable straps right there, which can fit any big, and I have a giant head, so I need an adjustable strap. The most comfortable, the lightest mask we have worn. So those 3, Shane, I don't care what condition you need a mask, I can't recommend those enough.
I love the adjustable on the ears because, like you said, everyone's face is a different shape. So I've bought a lot that just don't fit my face, and then I feel like I've just wasted my money. So that's a good find right there. And very attractive.
Yeah, they're all great, and they're all available online. This one's $18, so there we go. Hey, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, she was the original Real Housewife of New York and one of my favorites. Our special guest today, Jill Zarin, will join us when we come back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Jason Show. We are live. This is not a rerun. Even though I'm back in the home studio, I'm wrapping up my post-travel quarantine. Well, big news for the Golden Girls house. After hitting the market for 3 million. It sold for $1 million over asking. How do you like them apples? The home that served as the facade of Blanche's house for season 1 sold. No word yet on who the buyer is. And Shane, I'm telling you, if I bought that house, I'd try to keep it a secret, because any of those famous houses from TV shows, well, that's a hint for a story that we're going to tell tomorrow. But anybody that lives in one of these famous houses, you know you're going to get bothered by tourists and onlookers, and this house is definitely one of those houses.
I remember when Breaking Bad, that house in New Mexico, weren't people just like swarming the location of that house? And the neighborhood's probably like, what is going on here? Great, thanks. Love it. For $4 million.
Well, yeah, and there's a scene in that movie, or there's a sequence where people they throw a pizza on the roof in Breaking Bad. So that house, people kept putting a pizza on the roof. So as the homeowner, can you imagine I know. Can you imagine how irritating it is? You get up in the middle, you get up in the morning, you're running late, and you look up, and there's an extra large pepperoni on your roof.
And who knows what creatures that also brings to your roof. No thanks.
Yeah, believe me. Well, yeah. I don't want to know about those creatures. I'll just say that. Well, thank you, Shane. Shane will be back with us in just a little bit. But our first guest as one of the original Real Housewives of New York. Since then, well, and even during it, Jill is a businesswoman. She does charity work like no other. She's a fabulous mom, a fabulous sister, and a fabulous friend. And she joins us now from Florida. Hi, Jill.
Hi, good morning. Happy Monday.
Hi, sweetheart. Happy Monday. I always like to start off interviews with a compliment, and this one will be no different. Jill, I've been following Jill for many years, and back in at the beginning of Housewives, and we'll talk about Housewives a little bit later, but right at the beginning of the hoopla around Housewives, Jill was inundated with interview requests, and our radio show had just started, a little bitty radio show, and Jill was nice enough to appear on the radio show during season 2 of The Real Housewives, and I've never forgotten that, Jill. I've never forgotten how real and how kind you were.
Well, I appreciate that, and look how far you've come. Congratulations. It's a pretty big deal for us.
Thank you, sweetie. Well, let's talk about you have. We don't even have time to talk about all the things Jill Zarin's doing. Oh, who's back there?
That's Gary, my boyfriend. He's just popping in to say hi.
Allie's tie-dyeing. She can't make it right now.
Hi, Gary.
She's so far behind.
Okay, Gary.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. It's a crazy house.
No, I
busy,
love it.
busy.
I love it. That's why I love live. I love live TV. It's busy because you guys, you and Allie, Jill's daughter, you got in. I was just talking about masks. You got into the mask making business. How did this happen, Jill?
It just, in my life, things have just, organically happened. First, we started with Nauseous for Nurses. We did a charity to feed nurses around the country when everybody was in lockdown and restaurants were closed. And these nurses just couldn't get a meal because they were so busy saving lives. And so we started with that. And then we saw there was a need for masks. A lot of these nurses, there was a shortage of N95 masks, and that we're not involved in. But they wanted to have just a regular mask to use so they wouldn't waste an N95 going home. So we started, with masks, and they're very, very comfortable. And it just took off because people found them, and you could read the reviews at jillzarin.com, that they're the most comfortable mask that people are wearing right now. And we have 2-ply, we have 3-ply, we have adjustable. Gary,
this is not one of the masks. One of the masks.
Okay, I'm going to kill him.
No.
Do you see that? That's my face.
That will not protect you from anything.
Okay, Gary, okay. By the way, I just wanted to tell you, you guys are out of Eden Prairie, right? You guys are in Eden Prairie, Minnesota?
This is better.
So, so Eden Prairie,
Yeah.
my best friend lives there. My best friend Monique, and she's actually a nurse, and she was the one who really started and inspired me to help nurses for many years. And she lives there, so I thought it was very funny when I found out where the interview was.
Oh,
His friend lives there, and I've been there. I've been there many
yes,
times.
over here in Eden Prairie.
I've been there many times.
Well,
yes.
and I love too for people to think, for people to think because Jill's a big old celebrity, somebody else is doing all the work. No, if you follow Jill on social, Jill and Allie are hand dyeing all of these masks, right, Jill?
Absolutely. I mean, you can see by my nails, which I don't have anymore, and they're usually black, but I did scrub them up this morning just for you. My hands are usually pretty dark, but you know what? I love it. I wouldn't do anything I don't love, and I love it, and I know how much it's helping people, and it puts a smile on everyone's face. And my daughter has been really good at the social media end of the business, and she's been sending masks to a lot of influencers who are posting them, like Dixie and these TikTok girls. I don't even know who they are. It's terrible I should say that, but Allison does. And they all love them. And, I don't pay them. I give them masks, but they're all posting and saying it's their favorite mask. So we just keep going and working and working and working. And we're making more and more and more. And we love it. We really do. Just the feedback, from people saying that I love your mask.
I love it.
You know what? There's not much to love around these days, and I don't need a new dress to go nowhere. So I think the only fashion statement people can make, and we all love fashion, women love fashion, are masks. And you can express yourself, and there's so many different kinds. And the market that we're in is the most comfortable kind. So, and the tie-dye. By me.
Well, we have more with Jill. Go to jillzarin.com to get those masks. On the other side of the break, we got to talk about Housewives when we come back. Back after this, everybody.
You don't do that. People who are on charities do not promote their own businesses. It's very déclassé. It's just not done,
well,
Jill.
That's your opinion. I don't
It's
agree.
fact. You want me to bring you up to the social register? If you want, I'd be happy to. I just think it's
I didn't know
tacky.
you know where it is, but that's fine.
Yeah, of course I know where it is,
Where is
Jill.
it?
Jill, it's tacky.
Tell me where it is.
Jill, it's tacky.
Just tell me where the social register is.
Jill.
Oh, nothing in reality TV was like watching Jill and Ramona go at it. Welcome back with our special guest from the Real Housewives of New York, Jill Zarin. Don't forget to go to jillzarin.com. Seriously, Jill, I mean this. You know how to do it. I said this about you and Nene and Bethany. You knew how to do it, and I wanted to ask you on that note because I've been with you since the beginning. Was there a point, Jill, when you knew this was more of a TV show? Because I remember you saying at the reunion in season 2, you were celebrating the fact that there were 2 housewives from New York with best-selling books. When was the moment you thought this is a phenomenon?
I think when after the show started airing the first season and we got into the New York Times and Harper's Bazaar did a feature on us and we were like number 17, I remember, on Entertainment Weekly's board. And I remember that the New York Times did a big story on me and a caricature. Like I knew something big was going to happen. I did. I did not expect 12 years. That I don't think anybody could expect that. Nobody. But it's phenomenal. It really is.
No.
And honestly, thanks to Andy Cohen. I think Andy Cohen was the glue, even though he's not involved, I don't think, in most of the show's production. Because of Watch What Happens Live and the whole cult following, I think that's part of the magic that's kept this show alive. I do. You know what I'm addicted to now?
There's been so much. There's been so many stories.
Selling Sunset.
No, tell me. Oh, no, go ahead.
Have you seen Selling Sunset yet on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
It's a combo of Housewives and $1 Million Listing, but the girls are magnificent and the clothing is unbelievable. The star of it, Christina, is like if Erica Jane had a daughter. It's unbelievable. So I'm surprised that Rob wouldn't grab that show, to be honest.
Okay. Every time I look up, Housewives is in my algorithm for the internet when I look up stories for the show. Every other day, there is a story about you possibly returning to the show. Can we just set the record straight once and for all? Would you ever go back to the show?
No, not the way it was, because the show's not the way it was. It's a different show. I love coming back as a guest. I love, and I would have liked to have come back a little more this season. I think I would have, but it just didn't work out that way. And I was in Florida a lot, and just the timing and filming and all that. But now I don't even know if there's even an opportunity this season. I think they're going to film again. I know it's going to be very difficult, very difficult. And I'm in Florida now. I mean, I don't see myself coming back to New
Who
York
do
for
you-
a while. I'm going back this weekend, but then after that, I'm not going to be back for a
Yeah.
while.
Well, we only have like 30 seconds. I have to ask, because if you watch The Housewives with Jill, you knew and you loved Gloria. How's Gloria, Jill? How's mom?
My parents are amazing. My dad was just sitting behind me in the chair. My father comes here every single day. He sits behind me. He watches me work. I ask him questions. He's my mentor. You know, my father's an attorney and a businessman, an entrepreneur. So everything I learned from my dad. And I'm so lucky. He's 91 years old, but he's 91 years young. And my mother is fantastic. And she comes over for lunch once or twice a week with the girls. She loves it. We have a whole group of girls who work here. So it's been fun and exciting. And Allison being my partner, nothing could be better.
Nothing's better. Well, I love you, sweetie. Please come back. Whenever you do a project, let me know. We will shout it from the rooftop. So the mask, candles, rugs, everything. JillZarin.com.
And I have
The great
clocks
Jill
coming.
Zarin. Thank
I
you,
have big,
sweetheart.
beautiful clocks coming at the end of the month. So definitely check out JillZarin.com.
There we go. Jill Zarin, everyone. Thank you, Jill. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Shane right after this.
Welcome back to The Jason Show. Our next guest is a two-time Food Network baking champion and took on one of her biggest challenges recently. She opened up a cafe in the middle of a pandemic. Of course, please welcome the owner of the Meringue Bakery and Cafe in La Crosse. It is Jen Barney. Oh, and there it is. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Oh, how does it feel to be standing in your bakery? Because the last time we talked to you, you were doing this out of your kitchen, basically.
Yeah, out of the basement of my home. So this is a big improvement.
Absolutely. Tell us about your decision. I mean, this is obviously something you were probably working on long before the pandemic, and then this happens, and you decide we're going to do it anyway.
Right? You can't stop the train, right? So yeah, this is years in the making, and what are you going to do, right? We had to open at some point, and everything was ready to go, and things are going okay. I mean, it could be better. But honestly, if anything, maybe I'm grateful that we had a slow entry. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we didn't get overwhelmed right away.
That's true. You could kind of, it's almost like a soft opening, a little longer than a typical soft opening stretches.
A little longer than what we would hope for, but it's okay.
Well, I know I personally myself, I mean, I loved baked goods baked by other people. Like nothing beats it. And we've done a lot of buying cupcakes and cakes at local bakeries here because it's something to bring joy to our faces when at time it's kind of challenging. For you, I know we've featured you doing meringues and these gorgeous cakes where you kind of combine the two. Is that still your specialty, or have you added some other stuff in too?
Oh, absolutely. Weddings, specialty cakes are definitely where we're the strongest. But you know what? Especially during COVID, people aren't really having a lot of big weddings right now. So we've seen a lot of shift towards the cafe being the bulk of our business right now. So we're doing things like coffee, croissants made from scratch every day, breakfast sandwiches, things like that.
Ooh, breakfast sandwiches. Okay, I was just going to ask what has been the most popular thing, and was it surprising to you? Because like you said, with people kind of scaling down things, we're not getting these big cakes that we're used to seeing.
Right?
Yeah.
But like you had just said, Shane, people are still buying little indulgences because, you know, $5-10 here can go a long way in making people happy. I think one of our best sellers right now is an egg souffle sandwich. So we approach it from a baker's perspective. So the egg is a really soft, silky custard that we put on a croissant sandwich. And I think it's a beautiful sandwich and it's delicious.
Okay, this is surprising. I was sure you were going to tell us it was going to be a cupcake or something. Hey, I keep straining my neck. The biggest screen is right up in here. I want to see some of that stuff you got behind you there. Is there anything you could pick up and like put closer? Not that big cake. Don't drop that. There, yeah.
Right?
Oh, is that the souffle?
Can you see any of this? So
yes.
This is our potato chip cake.
Wait, what?
So this is a butter. I know, right? It's so super weird, but once you try it, it is so good. So it's a butter cake that's soaked with like a salty honey and butter syrup, and then it has potato chips on the top. This is an original recipe from the bakery, and it's definitely one of my favorites.
Okay, wow.
Right? We also do a variety of individual desserts. So can you guys see this?
Yes, it looks great.
Yeah, thank you. So just a lot of really, you know what? We love combining art with food. So this is just a great combination of really good artisan desserts with an artistic touch.
Almost too pretty to eat, but not.
Right?
Okay, so I know we've talked to you in the past, and we mentioned that before you had a bakery, you were a corrections officer. How did you get into baking? How did those two jive?
I don't know if they do. I think I was dreaming of being a pastry chef as I was a correctional officer. I remember that part. I've always had it in me to do something creative or crafty even. I mean, that was kind of the things that brought me joy. And at Christmas time every year, before I was a pastry chef, I would starting probably in October, I would start the planning of being a baker for the next 2 months, because at Christmas you could bake pretty much unlimited for family and friends. And I looked forward to it every year, and I treated it almost like a sport. And I think that just kind of kept growing, and that desire in me. And here I am 15 years later, got my shop. Finally.
You did it. Jen, congratulations. That shop is beautiful. It looks so perfect that it almost looks like you're on a green screen and that's like a picture behind you.
Thank you. We did a lot of research. I wanted it to be classy, but feel like you were in Paris in a way. Does that make sense?
Yes, I can feel it. I think it's Instagram perfection too. So we'll have to get out there soon. Thank you, Jen, so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good rest of the week. Remember, support local guys. meringuebakerycafe.com is where you can learn more. Maybe time for a little close to home road trip to La Crosse. And again, Jen, big winner on those holiday food baking championship. We will be right back after this.
And welcome back, everyone, to The Jason Show. We are live on this Monday, kicking off a brand new week. I'm Jason. I'm just back in our home studio for one day. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow. I'm just wrapping up my post-travel quarantine, keeping everyone safe. And speaking of travel, if you have any questions, you want to see some more pictures of my adventures, you can follow us on social media, Jason Show TV on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you do have any questions, because I've been joking, I've been saying I traveled so you don't have to. But if you do have any questions that we didn't cover here, go ahead and fire us off an email, and we may answer them coming up tomorrow on the show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Shane joins me, and I have a preview of a big story that I will tell you tomorrow. Stay with us. And welcome back to the Jason Show. Before we wrap up, Shane joins me again. Kendall's taking some time off. And Shane, I think it's really fitting. Not only am I just excited to see you, and I'll be excited to be back in the studio with you tomorrow, but it is very fitting that you are here today, because today, I don't know if you realize this, today is the 5th anniversary of the debut of the show.
I know, I'm like, wait,
5 years
what?
We've been together.
Has it really? I can't believe it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Now.
Yes, 5 years.
I know. I remember that day.
And you know who? What? Yeah. What do you remember about that day, Shane?
I remember being violently ill and having to put a show on the air. And I was so sick. And then when we got done and we walked out and everyone clapped for us, and I was just like, no one talked to me or look at me. And it had nothing to do with the show. I just ate something bad or whatever. So I don't remember much.
Yeah. I remember that. And then and I don't know how much Ted will tell me in my ear, but I don't know how much time we have. But my memory of that first 2 weeks isn't the first show. It is the next week when, after we debuted, and I wish I could see Jeff's face because he's smiling and nodding his head, the bosses thought it was a great idea to send us to the fair. And our first, Shane, you know what story I'm going to tell? The first show at the fair, when the big kahuna boss, like Dennis Swanson, sitting in the front row watching us, Shane gets in my ear 10 seconds before the open, and she goes, Jason, we don't have any video. We don't have prompter. Go. You got to talk for 8 minutes. What?
Okay, what? I'm back. Yeah, you're good at talking. I knew you could do it.
We did it. That's right.
Sure did.
Speaking of talking, like I said, I'll be back in the studio tomorrow. That's right, with a great story. Probably one of my favorite stories I've been able to tell. Something really kind of magical happened during my time off. I'll tell you that tomorrow. But right now, if you're watching and your kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you're doing it wrong. I'll see you back in the studio tomorrow. Bye, everyone.